Hi everyone, this is Sharon. Today I have a flip through of this journal that I just completed. It is a custom request and it's a journal for Susie, and she had requested a journal that has an old world European feel. So that's what I tried to accomplish with this one. On the front cover I clipped on this beautiful little pin, and it just has some sari silk attached to it. I'll pull that off, and then I also tied up the journal with this kind of gold mustardy sari silk trim as well. So I'll just take that out, and then under the ribbon I've placed this journaling card. It's just something I made. I love these noir kit images from Chrysalana Crafts, and I just made this. I put a coat of wax paper over the top, just glued it on, and then I kind of ripped a section off, and it just gave it a real aged look. I've got some old aged tape on the top, and then this is the back side. As far as the cover for the journal, I have this deep teal, kind of greenish blue colored book cover, and it's got a beautiful spine. It's called The Betrothed. And on the front covers, I used this beautiful image from Amity Bloom to cover it. The front cover wasn't all that attractive, and then I also put another panel on the back side. I just love the way that looks with this tealy green color. So heading on inside the journal, on the inside covers, I use these old book page images from Roxy Creations, and I've got another one on the back side. As far as digitals go, I have quite the mixture again of lots of different artists. I'll try to list some of the main featured ones in the description. I would say mainly for the pages, I used a number of images from Everlasting Journals. I've got some Ida Jane in there, a little bit of everyone. So heading on through, on this first page, I've got this corner pocket made from this lace panel. And in there, I inserted this little, I don't know, it's kind of a sort of a document holder. What I did was I took a piece of paper. I don't think I'm going to untie this, but I took a piece of paper and folded this front panel over on the front, and then just did a little reinforcement hole there. And then on the back, I folded it back this way, so we've got a place on the back for journal cards and a place on the front for some pieces of ephemera. So in this front one, I've got this antique French letter, and it's from, looks like 1844. Beautiful handwriting inside. And then I've also created this journaling card with this lady on. And then this journaling card, I love this image of the chandelier. And I've backed that with some embossed gold paper. And then on the back side of this, I'm going to call it an ephemera holder, I made these two cards. Just tuck those back in there. And then this is what the first page looks like. I've got the original title page to the book, and I've just added this fabric tab on there with some decorative stitching. And this book is dated 1894. Here on this page, I've got a top tuck, and I just punched the edge of that. And then in there, I've got this journaling card that actually opens up for some writing space. And then I've got this sheet from a flower catalog, again for some extra writing space. And then this is a beautiful piece of, it's dyed I was going to say coffee dyed. I don't know what I bought these on Etsy. I'm not sure what this is dyed with. And then in the center, so I've got this wax sheet. I did some stenciling here with paste. And then I've got this pretty ancient looking image. And then the other side. And then on this side, I've got another tuck at the top and then another journaling card that I put in there. And another sheet. This is a ruby and pearl. On this page, I took some velvet ribbon and just put a couple of bands diagonally for belly bands, and then did a little stamping at the top. And then in there, I've got this old French postcard. Oh, not French, English. It says London. But it's going to Paris. And then I made this journaling card, just added a piece of old lace on there. This is one of my favorite floral images. I just love the blues in there. And then back that. Added a little bit of this metallic trim on there. And then on this side of the page, this is from a vintage book that I have. It's got some beautiful photos in there. I think it's a book on Paris, if I'm not mistaken. And then I just did a little bit of collaging on the top. This is an old tobacco bag. I've got a number of those, and I just thought they're quite unique, so I used that. And then on this side of the page, this flips open, and then I've got the other side of that book page there and this pocket. And then I've got this French postcard and a piece of a vintage French notebook. And then on this page, I just embellished a little bit with some antique lace. Here's some onion skin paper from the early 1900s. And I folded that up to create a little pocket on here, and I embellished with some fabric and stitching. And then in there, I've got this little tag that I made. And then on this side of the page, I've got a pocket that I embellished with a little bit of lace, and it has these pretty ladies on it. And then in that pocket, I've got this little journaling piece with some watercolor swatches on it. I just attached it to a piece of a vintage map. And then here I've got an embossed tag with some Amity blue and washi tape. Just put that in there. And then on this page, I've got this beautiful image of the insects, and I just added onto there some lavender that I pressed from my garden and a wax seal at the top. Then here I've got an old 1700s book page that I used for the page. Created a couple of pockets here with some decorative stitching on them and some fabric and a little bit of embossed paper there. And then in those pockets, I've got a couple of large journaling cards. So I took this photo or this painting image and just cut it in two and created these two tags. And at the top, I've got this velvet ribbon that I embellished. And then on the back side, I've just got some grid paper for writing and some pretty decorative paper underneath. And then here I just did a little stenciling with ink. On this page, I added this beautiful piece of lace. And then over here in this pocket, I've got some old advertising pieces. These are French. And then just this little extra piece on there. On this side of the page, I just created a shallow little pocket with some embossed paper that I trimmed up with a full button. And then in there, I've got a couple of pieces, this little card. And then I had fun making this. I've been wanting to make these for a while now. I saw Pam on Pandora's Junk Journals had some original antique. They were some tobacco advertising trade cards, they looked like. But they had the tobacco advertising on the outside, and I just used this decorative frame from Nick the Booksmith. And then on the inside of hers, the original ones, had a little panel insert, kind of like this, on this side. And it was like looked like a light piece of linen that was embroidered with a specific flower. And then the description of the flower was in this side. I just thought they were so beautiful, and I looked for some, but they're quite pricey. So I thought I'd make my own. And they had this little sort of outside frame where the linen piece looked like it was inserted into. So I just took a piece of lace and inserted that into my pocket. And then I've got these moth trading cards that I used from Nick the Booksmith for making mine. If anyone would like me to do a tutorial on how I made these, let me know. I could make a couple more up. They're quite fun and easy to do, and they just, I think, have a nice impact. Love that beautiful image. And then here's the other side of that book page. And then here I created a pocket. And this pocket is from Roxy Creations, and this was a piece of the pocket. I think it was attached at the bottom or something. And I just added that to the top of the page for embellishment. And then I've got this is an old, these came from the UK. It's an 1800s set of playing cards. And I just added a little alphabet on this side to cover that. And then this card is a library catalog card. I just added some lace on there, or not lace, ribbon, and then this floral sticker on there. And then on this page, I just added a couple of stamps. Here I embellished the top of the page with this little strip of velvet ribbon and some cut paper. And then over here, I've got this old, it's from a music sheet. And I just added some of my own labels on top and some embossed paper to create this pocket. And then in there, I've got this piece. It's just from an old cookbook. And it can be used to hold ephemera or notes or whatever inside, kind of a little mini folio. And then over the top of that page, I hung this piece that I made. It opens up and has some coffee dyed paper on the inside. And then on this side of the page, I just clipped, there's some writing room on there, clipped these cards. And this one. Here's an original book page from this book, and it's got this beautiful image, kind of a book plate image that I just left in there. It's covered with this piece of paper. Here I created a pocket from a vintage envelope, did some decorative stitching on there, and then in there I've got this little item that I folded up, and it opens up, and then on the inside I've just got some images of these beautiful ladies. I used an old brass brad at the top and some avocado dyed paper, and then another image of this beautiful lady. And then the back has this pretty embroidered image on it. In the center of this signature, I have this beautiful old panel. Looks like a tapestry panel of some sort. And I just added, punched a couple of holes in there and added some ribbon that would come through on both sides of the page. Here's another part of that old envelope that I made into a top tuck. And then in there, I've got this old piece of ephemera from 1902. That's French. And then on this side of the page, I created this journaling card. I had a little ribbon on the bottom. And then in the back, I've got this belly band and just a couple of little journaling cards in there. On this side, again, I added some labels to that music sheet. And then in there, I've got this journaling card that I made. And then another one of those beautiful catalog images. And I just did some light stenciling on the back of that. On this side of the page, I've got this dotted tulle. I just added a little ruffle on the bottom with another section of that tulle, a different tulle. It's got larger dots on it. And then I embellished the top with a little bit of lace and velvet and a button. And then on this page, I've got this little cluster at the top with some fabric and velvet ribbon and book spine section. This is a page from a vintage French embroidery book that I have. And here I created the side tuck using this image. And then in there, I've got this old grade paper book page. And then I created this card. Over on this side of the page, I created this corner tuck. It's got this beautiful image on the back. And then I've got this little card. I did some stenciling with ink on the back of that one. And then this is some really old wallpaper. It's quite fragile, but I just thought I would put a little piece of that in here. Here I've got some pressed flowers that I just taped to the page. And then over here I created a little side tuck, embellished that with some cheesecloth and stitching at the top, and you could stick something in there. And then this page is an old French advertising piece. I think it's from an old magazine type flyer thing. And then here I just folded it up for a shallow pocket and added some of that embossed paper. Love that gold embossed paper I got from Catherine. And then in that pocket, I created this little piece, one of my favorite chandelier images. I just love it. I use it whenever I can. And then I created this little kind of booklet. Here I printed this wallpaper image on some handmade, it's like locked up paper. And then I just have this little cluster there with the wax seal. I love this image of these women. It looks like they're like on the side of a lake or a river, sitting by a tree, doing some reading. And then here, this is a piece of old French ledger, and I've got this paper ruffle with some old lace on there. And then in the center of the signature, I've got these two side panels that I folded in and created these tabs at the bottom to kind of hold my journaling cards. And then I just love the color combinations for some reason. I love this wallpaper image, so I didn't cover the side of these cards at all. But on the back side, I made them more interesting by using these image transfers of these ladies. I think every journal should have at least one kind of sassy lady, and I think she's it for this one. And here's this one, and underneath these images, I put some printed book page, so that would come through. Here I did a fabric ruffle on that side of the page, and then I've got another image of those women. These two look like sisters to me. Here I've got this medallion that I just stuck on the page with a little bit of string. And then in this pocket on this side, I've got another old ephemera piece from 1912. Looks like a receipt or a statement. And then this is a French book or a postcard. And then on this side of the page, I had this card clipped of this girl and this beautiful paper on the back. And then on this page, I just clipped on a number of pieces of old antique French fabrics and this beautiful gauzy lace fabric that I have. I try to incorporate a little bit of that in every journal. When it's gone, I will not be happy. It's one of my favorites. Okay, on this side of the page, I just embellished a little bit with some extra pieces of trim. And then here I've got another side tuck on this side. And I've got these tags. Added a little chiffon bow on that one. Some stamping on the back. And then this one with the wallpaper image and that beautiful image on the back. I believe that's Everlasting Journals. And then on this page, I just used a little piece of trim from one of my kits. And then over here, I've got this handkerchief section that has an S for Susie on it. And I just set that up as a pocket. And in there, I've got a couple of items. Just these little trim pieces that can use as bookmarks or little writing spots. And then this is an old antique Italian book page. And then this is what the back of the page looks like. And then at the top, I've got this little round tab from some Tracy Fox buttons. And I just added some little beads and a little metal on there. Here on this page, I just embellished it a little bit with an extra one of my vintage stamps. And then over here, I added this. I'm trying to remember where this came from. I believe that's Shabby Dabby Doodah. I just love that frame image. Then on this page, I've got this top tuck. I just turned it up to have sort of a little cuff on there with a button and some tatting. And then in there, I've got this journaling card that I made. What I did was I took a section of a page from an old photo album and then just inserted this photo into that, did a little stamping at the top. And then I added this lace piece on here, and then I did a little bit of slow stitching on her dress just to give it a little bit of color. I love this pale blue and a little bit of gold on there. And I added some writing room on the back. And then in this center page, I've got this beautiful landscape image, and I just added some lace. This actually could be used as a top tuck to put something in if you wanted to. And then in there, I inserted this little kind of booklet thing. This outside wallpaper image I waxed, so this cover is waxed, and I add this label down there. And then the inside, I put this ledger page, and I did it like an accordion, and then just added some images to the page. Here I've got lace and fabric, this pretty image, and then on this side, I've got some more of these beautiful images from Tina at Shabby Dabby Doodah. That's hard to say quick. And then on this side, in the other top tuck, I've got another one of these photographs that I just did a little bit of slow stitching. I added some French knots for her bouquet, and then their boutonnieres, I added some French knots as well. And then just put this old pretty piece of lace on there. Oh, this is the back of that one. Here on this page, I've got another one of these little faux trading cards. Inside, I've got the lace panel again that I inserted with the moth. And then this is what the outside looks like. And then I made this pocket from this wallpaper image. This is from one of my wallpaper kits. And I just love that image of the children on there. And I just add a little bit of lace to the corner. And then in there, I've got this old piece of ledger paper from 1905. It's really heavy and almost like cardstock. And that brings us to the last page. So that is my flip through for today. I hope you enjoyed that. I thank you very much for coming along with me today. And until next time, bye-bye.